Am I the asshole here for not letting my dad walk me down the aisle after he cheated on my mum? I'm getting married in a few months. Planning has been mostly smooth, except for one really emotional decision that I made. I told my dad he won't be walking me down the aisle, and now it feels like half the family thinks I've declared war. For some context, my parents were married for over 25 years. When I was 22, my dad cheated on my mum with a woman from his office, someone only a few years older than me. He didn't confess. My mum found out after seeing some sketchy messages on the iPad they shared. Everything blew up. Divorce, a messy fallout. My mum was devastated. She had been a stay-at-home mum most of their marriage and had to start over in her 50s. I was crushed. My dad had always been my hero growing up, the classic, hard-working, dependable, dad joke kind of guy. But after what he did, I saw a whole new side of him. He tried to justify it by saying the marriage had been emotionally over for years and that he just wanted to be happy. That hurt more than the cheating. He seemed so detached from the pain he caused. Even after the divorce, he moved on quickly, starting a new life with his girlfriend, and acted like everything was normal. Meanwhile, I watched my mum spiral for years trying to rebuild. I was there for her. She leaned on me a lot, and now years later, she's stronger. Happy even, but that time left a permanent mark. So when I started planning my wedding, I knew immediately that I didn't want my dad walking me down the aisle. It just felt wrong. That role, in my mind, should be held by someone who protected our family, not by someone who blew it up. I love my dad, but I haven't fully forgiven him. I'm polite when we see each other, and I included him in the wedding as a guest, but I asked my older brother to walk me instead. He was my rock throughout all of it. When I told my dad, he was shocked. He said he was hurt, that it was always his dream to give me away, that I was punishing him for something in the past. He said he's still my father, and nothing changes that. Now my stepmom, the woman he cheated with, is furious. She told me that I'm being cruel and disrespectful and trying to rewrite history. A few cousins have said that I should just let it go, that it was years ago and he's still my dad. Even my grandma said she was disappointed in me. But my mum? She cried when I told her about my decision, not because she was happy he's excluded, but because she felt seen. She told me she didn't expect anything, but knowing I remembered what she went through meant everything. So here I am, wondering if I'm holding a grudge or if I'm just setting a boundary. I don't want to make my wedding about old wounds, but I also can't pretend those wounds don't exist. Am I the asshole here? In the comments, your stepmother has the nerve to call you cruel? Ignore that woman and do what brings you peace. Your father is an asshole. Totally not the asshole. OP says, yes, seeing how my mother struggled all these years makes me want to slap her really hard that her soul leaves her body. I'm going to hell for this, but not the asshole. You are really within your right to make that choice, and it's not cruel. It's about setting boundaries for your own peace of mind. You should focus on what feels right for you and maybe have a heartfelt conversation with your dad to explain why it matters to you without reopening old wounds. OP says, not just mine, but for the peace of mind of my mother. Someone else asks, why does the affair partner think that she gets to opine? She should be shutting up and keeping her head down around the family. Just ask him, why would you have someone who doesn't respect the sanctity of marriage to give you away? And that he should be happy that you're even inviting him and his wife to your wedding, since you both don't respect or honor marriage and think of it as a joke. That makes sense. I'm surprised that they're getting an invite to the wedding. You know, it's not uncommon, of course, but it's definitely interesting to give them an invitation after all of this harassment and dramatics that are going on. I don't know if I could find it within my heart to allow them in my own wedding if I were to face the same thing myself. And yeah, I think you should ask him why you would have someone who doesn't respect the sanctity of marriage giving you away. That's a very interesting question. I'd love to know his answer to it, because I bet he dodges it and goes, that doesn't matter. I'm your father. This is how these things go, and you should respect that. Never an actual answer to the question because they can't answer that question, interestingly enough. I say absolutely not the asshole in this one, OP. I think you should rescind the invitation, in all honesty. And now, onto the update. Hi again. I honestly didn't expect this post to get much attention, but I've read through the responses, and thank you to everyone who shared their thoughts. I wanted to give a quick update. You can see the original post on my profile. The wedding is still about a few months away, and yeah, things have escalated. After I told my dad that I didn't want him to walk me down the aisle, he acted calm at first. He said he was hurt, but respected my decision. That lasted about a day, and then he started texting me passive-aggressively. Stuff like, I hope you enjoy your big day with people who didn't raise you, and I guess your mom is still feeding you her version of things. I didn't respond. He called me selfish and said I was punishing him for something that had nothing to do with our relationship. I told him that it had everything to do with how I saw trust in family, and that this moment was about me feeling safe and supported, not about his image or closure. The real kicker came when my aunt, his sister, messaged me, basically guilt-tripping me to let him have this one moment. She said I was going to humiliate him in front of everyone. That word, humiliate, really stuck with me, because that's how this is being framed now. Not as me setting a boundary, but as me trying to publicly shame him. And it's not true. I didn't post anything about it. I didn't tell anyone but immediate family. It was him who told the extended family and started spinning it into a pity party. My mum has stayed out of it, which I appreciate. She just keeps telling me to do what feels right and not let the drama steal this moment. At this point, I'm honestly considering asking him not to come at all. Not out of spite, just because I don't know if I can handle the emotional weight of having him there, especially if he's going to sulk or make it about himself. I hate that this is overshadowing everything. I was so excited about the wedding, and now I feel like I'm managing emotional landmines every day. I still don't feel bad for not letting him walk me down the aisle. I just wish that I didn't have to turn into this whole mess. Anyway, that's where things stand for now. I'll post a final update after the wedding, assuming I survive the next 2 weeks of family politics. Thanks again to everyone who helped me think this through. Unfortunately, there isn't a final update because OP's account got suspended, so I guess that's where it ends. In the comments, not the asshole. Your father is being ridiculous. It's your wedding, and your dog can give you away if you want. Don't let him, your step whore, or your auntie bully you. Uninvite them all if you wish. Quick question. If the wedding is months away, why only 2 weeks of family politics? OP says, there's a family gathering to happen in 2 weeks. I want to face them all. Someone else says, your father disrespected your mother by cheating on her after long years of marriage. Ask him if it was worth it. You are totally not the asshole. I am again saying this. Don't feel guilty, and I hope that you have a happy marriage. OP says, thank you. I just want to clear my name. I feel like they're gaslighting me. Someone else says, not the asshole. Just tell him that he's shown that he doesn't respect wedding vows, so why should he expect to have such an important part in your wedding? And tell that to anyone else who says something about it. Not the asshole. I would tell him that if he doesn't stop publicly defaming you, he will earn his spot at the wedding on his couch at home. I would say this behavior is exactly why I made the decision in the first place. Big, the tree remembers what the axe forgets vibes. Those who do wrong are often so quick for everyone else to move on and pretend that nothing happened without realizing some things result in lifelong consequences. It was so long ago, why does it matter now? The canonical cry of the narcissistic, thoughtless bastard. Cheaters have narcissistic traits, so his behavior checks out actually. They don't think how cheating can affect others, even their own children, or their children's health. They only think about themselves and their happiness and reputations. OP calling the mistress who's a few years older than her stepmother, is wild. She would have been called mistress till the wheels fell off. I can't imagine calling anyone a step-parent who didn't actually participate in raising me, let alone someone my own damn age. My dad's ex, who left him when I was not a teen yet, still counts as stepmom to me. I have a relationship with her to this day, more so than I do with my dad. My mum's actual husband, though, doesn't count as a stepfather. I met him as an adult. I find that weird too. I don't think I could ever call a woman like that a step-parent. It just gives bad vibes. She's definitely mistress in my mind. That is not step-parent vibes. She is crazy. She doesn't deserve the moniker of step-parent. And yeah, it's crazy how the dad can't really apologize for his behavior here. He doesn't recognize what he did wrong, why he did wrong, how he did wrong, how his actions affected others. It's just, can you just forget it? It was so long ago. Who even cares anymore? I hate people like that. I don't want them in my life. And I'm glad OP won't be having them in their life, supposedly. You know, I'm going to assume that that's the case, that OP listened to the comments, took action, and got rid of these people. Thank you for the story, OP. I wish nothing but the best for you. Our next post is by a deleted account, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for being furious that my boyfriend used a keepsake of mine for his art without permission? I've had this shark tooth ever since I was maybe 11. I found it on a beach on vacation. At the time, it was just cool because what are the chances you just walk on a random beach and find a shark tooth? In time, it became an important emotional keepsake for me that reminded me of all the good parts of my childhood. Honestly, most of it wasn't very good, so extra important. I just really like this stupid tooth, and whenever I was upset, I would just rub it in my hands and feel comforted. My boyfriend saw it in my room early on, and I told him this story, and he was like, hey, cool. To be fair, at that point, I didn't go into detail. I just said that it's important to me. Some years went by. We don't live together yet, but most of the time he comes to my place because it's larger. One day, a few months back, I was looking for my shark tooth, and it wasn't in the 2 or 3 places that it's been in. No biggie. I'm honestly pretty messy and often lose stuff somewhere, only to find it in my sock drawer a week later or something. I kept searching, confident that it would resurface because it has never left my flat. After 2 weeks or so, I began to worry, took my vacuum cleaner apart, and started panicking about maybe having dropped it in the trash somehow, and that it may have been gone for good. Eventually, my boyfriend comes over and notices that one of my drawers was kinda messy, because I'd gone through it and searched every nook. I tell him that I can't find the tooth, and he was like, ooh, that's a shame. I'm sure you'll find it. I didn't notice any weird vibes, so I guess he's got a good poker face. One more week, he says, over text, okay, I need to tell you something. Don't be mad. And sends me a picture of some art project, and it has my shark tooth in it. Apparently he had to do a sculpture type thing for university, and it's like a Viking ship that's half made out of seashells, driftwood, etc., with my tooth as the centerpiece. And he tells me that he saw the tooth in my flat when he was over, and I was in the shower, so he put it in his pocket to ask me later, but then forgot about it, and when he rediscovered it at home, he supposedly thought that it was part of some other materials he had gotten elsewhere, and just went ahead and used it. He claims he didn't remember until it was too late. So I tell him he's gonna give it back to me ASAP, and he goes, well, it might take a few months because it's in an exhibition, and also he used superglue, so he doesn't know if he can get it off. I was just done with the conversation and stared at the wall for like 30 minutes. After I had calmed down a bit, I now genuinely am not sure if I'm overreacting or not. Like, yeah, it's just a tooth, but he didn't ask me. I can believe him that he doesn't remember our short conversation a few years ago about it, but who just takes something from someone's bedroom and slaps it on their artwork without saying anything? I feel like if I see him in person, I'd have to struggle to not flip out. Am I the asshole for reacting so strongly? In the comments, Deleted says, honey, he's still lying to you. He definitely lied about just forgetting to ask you. You were in the shower, not on the moon. You telling me you have the kind of relationship where he can't yell something to you in the shower or just wait to ask until you get out? He purposefully waited for you to not be in the room to take the tooth. There is no way he didn't make the connection between the tooth that you were searching for, hectically, and the one that he took. It's not like it's an iPhone that everyone has, or a sweatshirt. It's a shark tooth he is using as the centerpiece of his project. You honestly believe that bullshit about forgetting where he found it? He then just lied to you all over again and let you believe that you lost it. He waits a week. A week? Come on. You think he wouldn't connect the centerpiece of his exhibit-entered art piece with the object he swiped while his girlfriend was in the shower? Unless he literally got a traumatic brain injury in the last week, there is no fucking way he'd forget. I remember where I sourced everything for my art projects when they were made of trash. You think he'd honestly forget finding a shark tooth? That means he even debated telling you the truth for a week. Remember that. It took him a week to decide that you deserved to know the truth and that you weren't responsible for losing your prized object. Girl, throw the boyfriend out. If he expects you to believe this bullshit, just imagine the stories he'll try to sell you in the future. No man who has any respect for a woman's intelligence would attempt to sell her this shit. I'm telling you, for all the women 10 plus years into this dating game who have fallen for shit like this, if it acts like douche and quacks like a douche, it's a douche, not the asshole. OP replies, he claims he only remembered this sometime after I told him that the tooth is missing. I definitely don't believe his story. I was just unsure if I maybe believe parts of it or nothing. He is forgetful, so I thought it could be possible. Peekaboo replies, OP, it's a shark tooth, and it's the centerpiece of this piece, so it's probably the only shark tooth either at all or of its size. He lied to you, and he stole from you. Why would he ever take anything from your home without asking to begin with? Forgetful about the story? Maybe. Forgetful that he took it from your place, used it in his piece, and didn't tell you until you were going crazy looking for it, and he may get caught? Hard no. OP replies, you're right. At this point, I honestly wonder why he told me at all, since I didn't even know he was doing that sculpture. He could have kept quiet and I would have 100% blamed my own messy ass. Once again, people very easily fall victim to manipulation and to gaslighting. I really do feel like he was gaslighting her in this situation. But the more serious thing to tackle here is obfuscation and trickle-truthing. It's good that OP realizes that when it's pointed out to her. I understand why you would come to get more help in a situation like this, but this is breakup worthy. This is, if you don't bring your crusty ass back here with that art exhibit right now, I'm gonna go rip that shark tooth out of it and shove it up your ass level of serious shit going on here. I say it a lot, but I say it because I mean it. What he did is evil. That is an evil act. That is an uncaring person that doesn't give a fuck about you, OP. He could have gone anywhere else and gotten that shark tooth, but no, he decided that he had to use the one that means so much to you and then lie and obfuscate and trickle truth. No, he's a bad person. Objectively bad. Get rid of him. And now, onto the update. I'll use this for a small update. I wrote an email to the university. Sadly, the answer was not encouraging, as they asked me for proof that I bought the tooth, even though I wrote in here that I found it. So that's dumb. I'll try to find out who's responsible for the art department though, and keep trying. I forgot my password asks, can't you screenshot your text messages where he says he took it, and you can have it back? That's proof that it doesn't belong to him. OP says, we sadly never directly refer to the tooth in the messages, but it might work. And now, onto the latest update, 5 days later. So I wasn't allowed to post an update post. Long story short, I have my tooth back. Boyfriend threw it in my mailbox in an envelope without a card or anything, so I don't know if I'm supposed to take that as an apology or if he's pissed off. The tooth seems unharmed. I haven't talked to boyfriend ever since this happened and don't know what will happen with us. But I have the tooth back, and I'm actually planning on getting a tattoo of it, so if it ever does get lost, I will still have it with me. Thanks for everyone assuring me that I was not the asshole. In the comments, Laney122 says, first comment is on point. The fact that he waited a week meant he knew instantly that he had fucked up. And that's being generous by assuming that he didn't know he was fucking up when he actually took the tooth, but still took a week to confess. OP's better off without someone like that. Also, the tattoo idea is dope. I hope they broke up. Imagine stealing someone else's sentimental items for your own selfish art pieces. My sister once took my copy of a trilogy gifted to me by our grandfather, who had died earlier that year, and used the books in one of her artworks. She also previously gave away one of my less cherished and sentimental books to a teacher who was leaving. Everyone in my family thinks I'm ridiculous for bringing it up with some resentment every so often, but yeah, people definitely do this shit. And when people do this shit, you need to lay the law down on them. You can't let them get away with that. Like, there has to be consequences for those actions. It feels like when it comes to sentimental personal property like that, the hard boundary goes without saying. And if those people don't recognize that hard boundary, or they do and they do it anyway, it doesn't matter. They don't get the benefit of the doubt. You come down on them hard and you mess them up for it, so they know never to do it again, and you get their ass into gear so that they fix the problem that they caused. That's my wisdom on a situation like this anyway. It seems like OP's was resolved with less fanfare than how I would have approached the situation, but I wish to incur wrath upon those that do me wrong. And that is how I'm going to operate. That's how I choose to be. So, yeah, thank you for the story, OP. I'm glad that it panned out well. I'm glad that you got your shark tooth back. And definitely a very good idea getting that tattoo. I like that. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.